So what's the Democratic answer today? Compromise. Brilliant, really, brilliant. How about you try fighting back for a change and see how that works out? But I'm the crazy one. Now joining us, a man who knows how to fight back, Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson from Florida. Congressman, it's great to have you on.
Thank you.
All right, now, Congressman, of course, I got to start with the obvious question. You know, you were a very hard fighter for your side. Everybody knows that. But you wound up losing the election. So tell us what happened and why you think that happened.
Well, it's very simple. Democrats didn't vote. In my district, in the early voting, the Republican turnout was down 20% from 2008, and the Democratic turnout was down 60%. That wasn't just my district. That was districts all over Florida where we lost 4 seats. It was districts all over the country except for parts of the West Coast and New England. Everywhere, Democrats didn't vote because they didn't feel like voting, and if Democrats don't vote, then Democrats can't win.
Well, so why do you think they didn't vote? What drove the apathy, if you will?
I think that Democrats are saddened and demoralized by this policy of appeasement. The other side has what they regard as a winning strategy. You can summarize it in one word with 2 letters. The strategy is no. Whatever the Democrats want, the answer from the Republicans is no. And they were able to ride that to a 66-seat victory in the House, depending upon how the last few races happen to come out. So they've got their strategy intact. What about our strategy? Our strategy for 2 years has been appeasement. And look where it got us. I think Democrats want to see a fighting leadership. They want to see a fighting president, somebody who actually accomplishes good things for constituents, someone who makes progress on the Employee Free Choice Act, someone who makes progress on immigration, someone who makes progress on civil rights, someone who makes progress on women's rights. That's what they want to see, and they haven't seen it yet.
So, you know, you were a fighter in your district, but they still didn't show up to vote. You think it was because of the national atmosphere where Democrats in general throughout the country felt like they didn't have enough to show up for? Is that what happened, you think?
It was a national disaster. I won by 4 points in 2008. I went back and checked to see what happened to all the Democrats who won by 10 points or less in the House in 2008. And believe me, 10 points is a lot more than 4 points. What I found is that of the 24 Democrats who won by 10 points or less in 2008, only 1 of them won this year. 1 out of 24. An additional 40 Democrats lost beyond that. 40 Democrats who won by more than 10 points in 2008 and managed to lose this year. It's simply because our voters went on strike, and we have to win them back by accomplishing good things for ordinary people.
It sounds like the opposite of what Tip O'Neill used to say. You know, he used to say that all politics is local, but in this day and age, I don't think that's the case at all. But, you know, the Republicans have nationalized it, and to your earlier point, John Boehner was in no mood for compromise of any sort on their side. I want to show you a clip here, and then I want to get your reaction.
This is not a time for compromise, and I can tell you, Sean, that we will not compromise on our principles, and we will not compromise on the will of the American people. It's as simple as that.
So are the Democrats suckers when they go to compromise with these guys? Because they have no intent of compromising with you whatsoever. So what's the game here? Why would the Democrats play ball with them?
I don't know. We put more than 100 Republican amendments into the health care reform bill and got next to nothing in the way of Republican votes. The Republicans have never said if you do X, Y, and Z, then we will go along with you. And that's the model the president was hoping to see when he got elected. We haven't seen it once. The only bipartisan accomplishment in the 111th Congress so far was my joining with Dr. Ron Paul to pass the Audit the Fed bill. And that had nothing to do with the president or, for that matter, the Democratic or Republican leadership. It was an insurgency from below.
Well, actually, the president and the White House fought that bill until it looked like they were going to lose. So that is absolutely accurate.